Demon Lord Clan Boss, for me as a brand new player, was one of the most intimidating things ever to get into, man. I watch all these beginner tips videos. What are people saying? They're saying, hey, you gotta focus on setting up your Demon Lord Clan Boss team. Focus on Demon Lord Clan Boss. What does that even mean for a new player? Hell, I had no idea, and it took me months to really start to understand what the hell I'm even doing. So, what is up, guys? This is Cobb, and in this video, we're going to be talking about all of the key buffs and debuffs, accuracy requirements, and just tools you want to be building on your account and champion types with examples to get started into the likes of, you know, a hard and brutal Demon Lord Clan Boss, and just getting you to a place in your account where you're at least hitting brutal within 2 or 3 months. Something else that you'll also hear super experienced players say is, oh, Demon Lord Clan Boss and the rewards that you get from the chests are so important, and that's why it's so crucial that you're farming higher levels of Clan Boss as quickly as you possibly can. What they don't do, and what I've done a couple times on this channel because it's so goddamn important, is actually tell you exactly why these chests are so important. It's because if you get to a place in your account where you're able to farm Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, ideally spending 1 key on each to hit the damage requirements on these Clan Boss chests, every single day you're getting a crazy Clan Boss chest with, like, it's something crazy like an average of 8 Sacred Shards a month on average from the Transcendent chests from the hardest stages, the Ultra Nightmare stages of Clan Boss, if you're killing the boss and doing the damage required, right? So the monthly rewards from this, that's not even talking about the gems and the gear drops that you can be 5 and 6 star gear, you know, just the immense amount of rewards you get from this is why Demon Lord Clan Boss is so important. But even when you're just getting started, man, getting these brutal chests coming in at a steady pace, it's going to get you some easy shards, it's going to get you some extra gems to spend, it's going to build up your experience brew, stockpiles, epic skill tomes, and some 5-star gear too, man. So it's very important that you set up your Clan Boss teams as quickly as you can, man. So what kind of tools do you want to bring into Clan Boss? Well, before we get to that, if you're looking to start off a brand new raid account yourself, a new alt account, if you will, then hell, make sure to go ahead and sign up using the beginner promo link, which is down below at the top of the video description box, man. Hit that link to sign up to raid and you get yourself 4 free epic champions, all of which are just absolutely insane. So if you're looking for a new free-to-play challenge like I'm running right now on my alt account and you want to play along with me, then that is the link with which to do it. Just make sure that you're signed out of Plarium Player before clicking on that link, man, to guarantee that you get your hands on all of those saucy rewards if you are playing on PC. So, the key debuffs that you want to bring into Clan Boss, right, the effects that you want to bring on your champs into Clan Boss, are going to be pretty much as follows. You want to be bringing poison damage. That's going to be very helpful for you indeed for dealing damage to the Clan Boss in the early game. You're also going to want to bring decrease attack if you can. Weaken is great to bring if you can bring the weaken debuff. Decrease defense can be pretty good, though it's not absolutely necessary when you're just getting started. It's a nice to have. If you're dealing mostly poison damage, then decreased defense doesn't really matter anyway, but it is going to boost the damage overall of your team. And the leech debuff is a great, if slightly optional, debuff to be bringing into Clan Boss as well, as it's just going to give you a way to heal without using lifesteal gear. But yeah, those last two, decreased defense and leech, little bit more on the optional side, a little bit more important for, you know, the further you get, I guess, into Clan Boss, whereas the first few are very good debuffs indeed to bring along. So, poison dealing champions, man. Some very easy champs that you can bring along to fulfill this role. If Kale is your starting champion, then he's going to be Grit. He brings the weak version of poison on his A1, and he brings a quadruple hitter with a chance to place the strong version of poison on the A3. And so Kale is just going to be a fantastic damage dealer for you into Demon Lord Clan Boss when you're just starting out. But if you don't have Kale, or you want to put a second poisoner alongside him, which is also an option that you've got, then Frozen Banshee is going to be great. Pretty accessible rare champion, magic affinity, so you can pull from mystery shards, ancient shards. And she brings a double hitter on her A1 with each hit having a 100% chance when skill bucked up of placing the strong version of poison. And she also brings poison sensitivity debuff as well on her A3, which just increases the damage that your poisons are dealing overall. A super budget option for poisoners. If you're really in like the first 30 days of your raid account, you just want to take a champion up to like level 40 or something and just help get you started in the earliest possible stages of Clan Boss, I wouldn't recommend maxing maxing out Outlaw Monk by any stretch, but his A2 does place 2 strong poison debuffs on the target for 2 turns. And so, well, if you're talking hyper budget, scraping the bottom of the barrel budget, then Outlaw Monk could be your uncommon man for getting started in terms of dealing damage into Clan Boss. Now, as for decrease attack, I'd consider this to be pretty much the second most important debuff to be bringing when you're getting started into early Demon Lord Clan Boss. Decrease attack is a little bit tougher to come by. You're oftentimes, for the strong version of decrease attack, which is the 50% version, you're going to be looking at the likes of epic champions. One champ that you can get your hands on for this job, completely for free, is just a login reward champion, if I can find the Ogryn tribes, is going to be Grush the Mangler. There he is. This guy actually brings a few tools that are pretty good. He's not going to be in the super top performing Clan Boss teams, but that's not what we're looking for here. We're just looking to get you started, right? Brings a leech debuff on his A1, which is just going to convert some of your damage into healing in your team. Bit of extra survivability, which is great. Most importantly, he brings an attack all enemies on his A2 with a 100% chance, actually, when fully booked up, of placing the strong version of decrease attack for a couple turns and decrease crit damage as well, which is just going to drastically increase the amount of turns that you survive against Clan Boss. It's going to drastically reduce the amount of healing that you need. In case you don't know, Demon Lord Clan Boss will start to ramp up in damage very, very quickly after its 10th turn, right? After Clan Boss turn 10, its damage starts to spiral out of control, and you'll die very, very quickly if you don't have a decrease attack champ on your team. Grush is a good option for that. Another fantastic option for this is going to also be Sepulchre Sentinel. She brings a kind of spammable chance of placing strong decrease attack on her A1, which is just lovely. You can be getting this off basically every single round. And then on her A2 as well, she also brings some very, very good kind of buffs on here that are also going to help to keep you alive. But we'll get into those when we get into those. We'll be revisiting Sepulchre Sentinel all over again in future. But yeah, she brings the strong version decrease attack on her A1, and so she is a great option. Next up, we have the Weaken debuff. Now, the Weaken debuff is great to bring into Clan Boss. It is not an easy debuff to come by. If you do get yourself a champion such as Finn, then at least you've got a very, very easy way of consistently applying the Weaken debuff. She actually brings a crap load of debuffs that you need, right? She's got a double hitter on the A1. She brings a double poison debuffer on her A2 and the decrease attack. So great, dealing great damage. Decrease attack is amazing. And then on the A3, she has a triple hitter that can apply decrease defense and weaken as well on that A3. So she really is a complete package for getting started in Clan Boss. And would you know it, she's actually one of the champions that you receive as you level up your account in the beginner promo link down below, man. It's almost like I spoke with Plarium and said, hey, man, we need Finn somewhere in this promo link. You gotta set me up, man. I gotta help the bros out. So that's what we're doing over there, man. Yeah, Finn is an amazing, amazing option for these purposes, man. And alright, as for your decrease defense champion, to be honest, the easiest to build out if you're a brand new player is probably going to be at least a level 50 War Maiden. Some people still believe in taking War Maiden up to level 60. If you're free to play, that might be a good option for you. Wait until the first 2x Ancient Shard pulling event and just see if you pull any better epic options that also bring the strong version of decrease defense like War Maiden does on her A3. And you might want to max out an epic version of like an epic champion that brings the skill instead. But you know what? If you pull all your ancient shards and you don't find a better epic option, then War Maiden might be worth for you to take up to level 60 and use her for decreased defense in Clan Boss. She does also bring a super weak, like a low chance to hit, weak version of poison on her A1 as well. So she just bring a little bit of poison damage. And as for a leech champion, we've already covered Grush on that one. Again, the leech debuff is not super crucial, so I'm not going to go ahead and cover a champion for the leech debuff exactly, but there are options out there. Now, as for key buffs that you want to bring into Clan Boss, we've covered the debuffers, right? The debuffs so far, and we'll cover how much accuracy you need to build them with depending on what stage of Clan Boss you're hitting as well before the end of this one. But as for the buffs that you want to be bringing, you want to be bringing increase speed, the 30% or the strong version. Increase speed is absolutely crucial. Just going to get your champs more turns in and more damage by a lot. If you don't have an increased speed in your Demon Lord Clan Boss team, you're probably missing out on you're missing out on a lot of damage, okay? It's very crucial indeed. So increase speed Increased defense, again, 60% or strong version. Ally Protect is a fantastic defensive buff to bring to your team to just massively, massively bolster your survivability. You also will be bringing a either block debuffs buff or a way to cleanse debuffs from your team. Finally, counterattack. If you have a champion on your team that can apply a counterattack buff to your entire team, oh my god, dude, that is just going to drastically increase the damage that you do, because the clan boss is more often than not throwing out big AoE attacks and, yeah, triggering counterattacks across your entire team. So let's start off with the increase speed champion. One of the best kind of budget options for this in terms of rares is a champ I did pull on my free-to-play account, which I'm very, very happy with, is Apothecary. Apothecary brings a strong version of increased speed and some 10-meter fill as well on his A3 on a 310 cooldown when fully skill bucked up, which, yeah, you definitely want to put the bucks into this as quickly as you possibly can. Apothecary is amazing for this purpose. Once you've also skilled up your Apothecary's mastery tree, you can go into the Giant Slayer mastery skill, which will give you a chance on hit of dealing some extra percentage health damage. And because Apothecary has a triple hit on his A1, if you get that skill triggering, if you get that mastery triggering with this A1, dude, suddenly he's doing a pretty respectable amount of damage as well as bringing the all-important increased speed. So Apothecary is a great, great budget option. Otherwise, you will, of course, get yourself a Hiker Toon after just playing Raid for 30 days. You can go ahead and, similar to War Maiden, take your Hiker Toon up to level 50. She does bring increased speed and some 10-meter fill as well on her A2. Consider taking her up to level 60 as your account gets a little bit older, and if you don't have any better options to take up to level 60, fair enough, but even at level 50, she can do a pretty good job for you getting started into Demon Lord Clan Boss, man. Now, as for increased defense champions, I'm going to cover a champ that I pulled very, very early on my free-to-play account. If you want the strong version of increased defense, usually it's going to be an epic champion once again, but increased defense with Hatatsu is included in his healing on his A3, right? It's a strong version of increased defense and a continuous heal buff as well, which is great. He also does bring decreased attack, not 100% land rate, but brings decreased attack on his A2 and the leech on his A1, so he actually brings a lot to the table, which is ideal, right? Ideally, you want champions that are bringing multiple of these tools into Clan Boss at the same time, which is going to get easier and easier to do, of course, as you flesh out your champion collection. Could be a little bit tough to do as you're getting started, but that's Raid Shadow Legends, right? It might be kind of impossible, or you might find it impossible with your champion roster to include all of the buffs and all of the debuffs that we're covering in this video into one team, and that's okay. You're just trying to do your best to fit in as many as you possibly can, right? If you already have a Ally Protect buffer in your team, which we're going to get to that one in just a little bit, then you might not be able to fit an increased defense in the team. If you already have an increased defense in your team, then it might be vice versa, right? You might struggle to also fit an Ally Protect champion in your team as well. So you're just kind of doing your best, experiment a little bit, and see what you can fit in. One thing that I will say as well, before we get into the Ally Protect example champion, is that when you are experimenting in Demon Lord Clan Boss, one thing you can do is when testing out a team, don't just auto-complete the battle, right? Load into the battle, play it out, see how you're doing, and if you're not liking it, literally just close out of the game, right? If you're on PC, just Alt F4, exit the game, close the game, and you will get your Clan Boss key back. You won't waste the key, right? You won't spend the key. I think one thing you can do if you're playing on mobile and you're not playing on PC and you can't just close the game, if you're on mobile, you can just stop the battle right before you're dead and then enter flight mode on your mobile so that you disconnect, right? And then when you load back into the game, you will still have your Clan Boss key. So that's just like a nice little tip that you can use if you're just testing out a new team composition and you're a little bit worried that you might waste your Clan Boss key and not do as much damage as you were expecting. That's a way that you can sort of just leave the fight without losing your key. So quite important to note, man. Okay, now as for the Ally Protect champion, I'm not sure there's a better option as far as like an accessible-ish option goes as compared to Taragi the Frog. This guy, crazy cell, insane, brings a lot of very, very useful tools to Clan Boss indeed. Of course, decreased attack, strong version on the A1, which is great. Brings a provoke on the A2, which is great into other areas of the game, but not going to be helpful into Clan Boss. But also brings a self shield on the A3, as well as a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except Taragi for 2 turns. Also heals himself and places reflect damage buff too, which is lovely, right? But the ally protect is the most important thing. It means that Taragi is going to be absorbing a lot of the damage that your team is taking and just drastically reducing the damage that everybody else on the team takes. Meaning you can just build your Taragi to be tanky as hell, keep your Taragi alive, right? Via heals and whatever, and you're good. The rest of your team should survive as long as Taragi survives. That's why Ally Protect is going to be so strong into Clan Boss. Taragi also brings a passive that when attacked has a chance of placing the strong version of poison on the attacker for 2 turns, which again is great into Clan Boss. And so Taragi is just a fantastic example of an Ally Protect champ that you could work into your team. Next up, man, block debuffs or debuff cleansers. Right, we've got a couple of champs that we can cover all up and over here. One champ we've already sort of taken a quick peek at, which is again going to be Sepulchre Sentinel, who brings decreased attack A1. Sepulchre Sentinel brings the increased defense and a 2-turn duration block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns as well. This is great, right? One thing that you're going to want to learn to do as you get into raid, and you know, once you're a few months in and you're starting to try and refine your clan boss team a little bit more, maybe as you're heading towards either brutal or maybe even nightmare clan boss for the first time, is you're going to want to do things like research the speeds of each clan boss level and try and get your Sepulchre Sentinel at just the right speed so that every time the clan boss comes in with its 3rd attack, right, every 3 attacks the clan boss is going to throw out that stun. You want your Sepulchre Sentinel to have this A2 ready, right? That's what people mean when they say, oh, you've got to speed tune your clan boss team. That's what speed tuning is, right? You're tuning Sepulchre Sentinel speed to be just right so that she always gets this A2 off to block the stun just before it comes in from the clan boss, you know. We're not going to get too much into that in this video because it's, you know, supposed to be beginner friendly and all that stuff, but needless to say, she's a great champ to have on your squad. Another fantastic champ you can bring along is gonna be, where is she, man? Good old Doom Priest. So Doom Priest, very, very simple kit. Simple A1, she brings an increased attack buff on the A2, which again is just a nice to have. But her passive, every single turn she gets, she spreads out a little bit of healing across your team and removes 1 random debuff from your allies at the start of this champion's turn. So again, as long as she is sort of speed tuned correctly or just fast enough, whenever that stun goes off from the Demon Lord clan boss, she is going to have that chance to remove it. And so that's just an example of like a cleanse style champion that can help you deal with those pesky stuns. What do we have left? Oh yes, counterattack. This one's big, man. So counterattack style champions, we've already talked about just how much damage they can help you get off, just triggering crazy amounts of extra damage from all of your damage dealers on the team. And one of the best possible options you're going to have for this is of course going to be Skull Crusher, man. His A1, we don't really care about this. It's attack one enemy, not a big deal, right? Skull Crusher's A2, oh my god, dude. Not only does it place the strong version of Ally Protect, which is just nuts, right? So it's drastically increasing the survivability of your entire team with this buff. Place that for 2 turns, but it also places a counterattack buff on all allies except Skull Crusher for 2 turns, and then place an unkillable buff on this champ for 1 turn as well. Yeah, it's just crazy as hell. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. This is like an insane skill for Clan Boss. Skull Crusher is absolutely premium in terms of like budget options for getting your Clan Boss team up and running. He's going to drastically increase your damage via counterattack, drastically increase your survivability. Yeah, definitely one of the better budget option champs to bring into your Clan Boss team, man. So, those are the key buffs that you want to be bringing. So right here, we are about to queue into Brutal Clan Boss with an extremely budget team, as you can well see. We've got Haikatun as our speed gal. We've also got it as party leader as well for the speed aura on everybody. Kale is our poison damage dealer. Instead of War Maiden for decreased defense, I'm throwing my Thalesia into the mix instead. She just has a little bit more damage, and she also brings the same decreased defense debuff, and you know what, I've leveled her up to 60, whereas my War Maiden is still level 50, so she's just going to stand in for War Maiden. Doom Priest, we've already talked about. She's going to be bringing some cleansers. She's in speed tuned correctly or whatever, so she's going to miss some cleansers as well, but that's fine. We're just going to throw her in the mix. And Hitatsu is bringing Leech and increased defense as well, just to help us stay alive. And while we're not going to be showing off this whole run, I did actually play this run out last night, where we're just letting our guys smack away. They got to about 20 million damage before there was only the Doom Priest left alive, you know? So they did pretty okay, right? They did decent enough. I think you need to deal about 21 million damage in a Brutal Clan Boss to get the final chest. And so this team is very, very close to being able to 1 key, which is pretty nice, you know, given just how budget it is. And this might be what your team looks like after a month or 2 of playing Raid Shadow Legends. Ideally, you know, after like 2 or 3 months or something, your team might look a little bit something like this if you are prioritizing your champs correctly and you're doing a right and honorable job. Now, I could do a little bit more damage with this team as well. If I was to switch my Kayle out of lifesteal gear, he's still just sitting in lifesteal gear because I'm lazy, and even though he doesn't even need it anymore for my account needs right now, he's still just sitting in that gear, so he's actually lacking a bit of damage, to be honest. He's also very, very slow. He's at like 155 speed or something. Like, dude, I just don't really use my Kayle anymore, so I just haven't bothered sort of tweaking his items from the super early game, you know. I should also mention as well that, of course, some of these champions are not just ascended, but also awakened to like 3 or 4 star levels of awakening in some cases, which is giving them some stat boosts, and so they're going to be doing a bit more damage, and of course they've got better gear and stuff than you might expect to have after 2 or 3 months of playing Raid, and so the damage is going to be a bit inflated by that as well. And so maybe it's a little bit unrealistic to suggest that you're going to be able to 1 key Brutal Clan Boss within 2 or 3 months of playing Raid. It's going to be quite gear dependent. Also, you know, spending your medals in your Great Hall as well is also going to give you all kinds of stat boosts across your account, and many other little things as well, you know. So a lot of this is just going to be building sort of a baseline team to get you started, and then building on them and improving their gear and getting various upgrades across your account to, yeah, build on them as your account matures a little bit as well. But as you can see, the damage is coming along just fine. We've got very, very nice poison uptime, which is great. Which leads me into my next point, man. For landing all of these debuffs, what kind of stat checks do you need to be hitting into Clan Boss? Well, things start out very, very easy indeed into easy Clan Boss, where you're going to need 70 accuracy, approximately, to be landing your debuffs, right? Any negative effect that you're applying to an enemy that's not damage, whether it's 10 meter control or poisons or whatever, is going to require accuracy, by the way, just so we understand the stat. You're going to need about 70 accuracy for easy Clan Boss and at least 130 speed on your champs, just so that they are faster than the Clan Boss itself. Easy is very, very, well, easy to get into, to be honest. As long as you've got speed boots on your champs, you're going to be good. As you scale your way up towards Brutal Clan Boss, which we're in right now, you're going to need 170 accuracy, 160 speed or more, and about 2,500 defense on your champs for them to have enough durability to get off some decent damage into the Demon Lord Clan Boss, right? So those are the stat checks you're looking for into Brutal. As for Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, which we'll throw in there as well, just to give you context of how you're going to be looking to progress your champs, 230 accuracy, 190 speed. However, that's not really set in stone, because by the time you're Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you should be speed tuning your team, and you're going to have some champions that are quite slow but are just there to deal quite a lot of damage, and then you're going to have some champions that you've built with like 260 speed or something, just as fast as possible, because they've got a very specific skill that they need to get off at just the right time every time. And so that's kind of a hard and fast rule. And then as for defense, you're talking about 3,000 or more defense to keep your champs alive at that point. Some people say 3,500. It kind of depends on the champs and what defensive buffs you're bringing to the table, right? And ideally, if you're pushing Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, you're looking to build something like an unkillable or block damage or infinity Clan Boss team that can, really, really pump the damage. And alright, man, those are all of the basics that you need to really get started into Demon Lord Clan Boss for the first time. But eventually, then once your account is like a year or 2 in, once you're into like the 2nd year of your account, that's when you're really looking to start setting up a Clan Boss team that can go into Nightmare Clan Boss, which you're against right now, and just do this, right? An Infinity Wixwell Clan Boss shield team just can't die, and so you just get off, you know, 100, well, in this case, 140 million damage for free. Very, very easy to do, and you can do that in both Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss and farm the max reward chests. That's going to be like your long-term goal, right? To set up like a Wixwell team or a Unkillable style team or something like that. Something that can actually just 1-key Ultra Nightmare. More realistic is setting up a slightly more late-game team like a year in that can like 2-key Ultra Nightmare and just hit that 70 million damage requirement. that's totally going to be an option for you as well. But yeah, hopefully this video gave you a good enough start to get you started and just clear some of the fog of war a little bit surrounding Clan Boss, you know. Hopefully it's going to get you at least up to Brutal while you get your bearings on your new account. Speaking of which, man, if you're looking to start off a brand new raid account, looking for a clean start or set up an alt account and see how you do completely free to play, or whatever the hell your purposes are, then make sure to use my beginner promo link down below at the top of the video description box to jumpstart your account with 4 free epic champions, one of which will be Fane, absolute Clan Boss debuff god as you level up your account, man. Hey, one of the best ways to kickstart your new raid account down there. So go ahead and use it, man. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy this one, and I'm gonna catch all of y'all just a tad bit later, man.